So, is it that time in your life yet? Do you feel like your family is complete and you and your spouse want to not worry about changing that? Well, the decision can be difficult, but the recovery doesn't have to be. After your vasectomy, you gotta get testes. Doctors usually recommend a jockstrap and ice for your boys to help with comfort. Well, testes is the best of both worlds. This is for the man who is out on the go and needs to get things done. You get the ice packs from the freezer, strap up, and saddle up. The packs give you at least 20 minutes of comfort, even if you're just sitting around watching the game. And most important, guys, no wet spots. Put on the jockstrap under your briefs and go about your day. They come in 3 sizes, medium, large, and extra large to get your right fit. Now head on over to testes.com. That's TEST-EEZE.com. TEST-EEZE.com. Your wife is going to thank you for the snip, and your testes are going to be thanking me. Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I'm your host, Sean McGahee, and this is a show where we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. You can listen to Dayspring Discussions on iTunes, YouTube, Podomatic, Patreon, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Anchor, wherever, guys. While you're there, go and rate, review, and subscribe. Don't forget then to head on over to the Facebook group and Twitter page and join in the discussion, guys. Well, hello everyone. It is a sunny Sunday here in Austin, Texas, and I am back. Yes, I know. It's been a couple of weeks since I did an episode. Life happens. You know, this is a hobby for me. I don't get paid to do it. This is something I enjoy to do in my spare time, and I've tried to carve out this little time every week so I could do these recordings, these episodes or so. But like I said, on the priorities of life, this is at the bottom. So sometimes it doesn't work out. These last couple weekends have been pretty busy. Last weekend, my parents came to visit. They flew in for the weekend. We visited, had a good time there. And then the weekend before that was my birthday, as well as a family friend's birthday. So festivities were happening to where, again, these last couple Sundays or weekends, I just couldn't carve out time to talk, to do the recordings and all that. But that's all right, because the social media sites are always active, and I'm always encourage you guys to go on there, post your own stuff, comment, discuss. That's what I want. That's what I love. I love sharing my thoughts, but I love discussing and hearing other people's thoughts about this stuff as well. But I'm here now, so let's get into it. Okay, for those of you who are new here, here's how it goes, guys. So, as I said, you can hop on over to the Facebook group or Twitter page, and there you can post stories about things you're interested in. People will comment back. We'll hopefully have a nice discussion, friendly discussion about stuff in the world of geekdom. And then, of course, I hop on here when I can. Try to make it once a week, but when I can, and then talk about my favorite stories from the following week or beyond, as this one is going to be. And we just have a good time, guys. Like I said, it's all about discussing this because for me, I don't get to talk about this stuff as much as I'd like. I think with some people, there are people that are, in my life that I love dearly, but they don't get into some of the things that I get into as deep. I'm a big Star Wars fan, Marvel, DC. There are people that enjoy these things that I talk to, but they don't go as deep as I do as far as being a fanboy of them. So, the internet is a way for all of us to get together and discuss these things, sometimes not civil, but I try to make the social media sites as civil and, harmonious as I can. Because like I said, I love to discuss this stuff. Hopefully you love to discuss it too. I bounce ideas and theories off each other, and we just have a good time. And that's what it's all about, guys. Okay, so there is a lot to talk about today. I usually try to stay within that 30-minute mark. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I'm not going to talk about everything that I want to talk about that I missed over the last 2 to 3 weeks. The Dune trailer came out, the new Dune trailer, which I enjoyed. All I can say about that is if you saw the trailer and you are not planning on seeing the film in theaters, you're an idiot, and text me or message me and I'll tell you why that's a stupid idea. What else came out? The Star Trek Prodigy and a Star Trek Lower Decks new trailer came out too, so there's all that. Funny because I was just watching, I came home from work and just, relaxed, took a shower, and in my car on the way back from work, I had my iPod, excuse me, on shuffle, and it came on to the Star Trek score by Michael Giacchino, which I love, and that got me in a Star Trek mood. So I just got done watching the 2009 J.J. Abrams Star Trek film, and I know, it could be a little controversial, modern Star Trek, but I enjoy the film. But neither here nor there. But anyway, I'm going to talk about what I want, try to stay within my time frame, and we'll just get going here. Usually, I like to start off with what's got my attention. It's usually like some current show I'm watching or something I'm reading or whatever, but I'm not going to get into that because, like I said, I don't have time for it because, like I said, I got a lot I want to talk about and cover. So let's rewind a little bit here, going back to about 2 weeks ago. Black Widow finally arrived. After 2 years, we've got a Marvel movie back in theaters. Scarlett Johansson, kind of a prequel, if you will, set between Civil War and Infinity War. Went and saw it with my crew. How I like to roll into these Marvel and Star Wars movies nowadays is I'll when tickets go on sale for something, or before that, I'll call up like 2 or 3 of my friends that I go see movies with, and I'll be like, hey, you want to go see Black Widow when it comes out, when tickets go on sale? They're like, yeah, okay. And then, I get a count of how many tickets I need to buy when actual tickets go on sale. And usually it's about, 10 to 12. This time we took up a whole row minus 1, which was hilarious. I should have just bought the other seat in that row and just had someone come, but anyway, we rolled in, went and saw Black Widow, and then saw it again the following week. Went over to a friend's house. We wanted to watch it again, so he bought it or rented it on the Disney Plus Premium access, and we watched it again at home. But either way, Black Widow, I thought it was okay. As far as MCU films, it's kind of in the middle. It's not like horrible. It's not phenomenal. I'll put it in the middle. It's Scarlett Johansson. I love me some Scarlett Jo, so can't go wrong there. Some of the highlights of the film for me, I thought was, of course, Florence Pugh as Yelena. I think was probably really the standout. And you can definitely tell, they kind of set her up to be the next Black Widow or White Widow, I believe is how she is in the comics. Basically, the Natasha substitute is what it's going to be. And the post-credit scene that they had with her and Julia Dreyfus, is that her character's name? Or what's her character's name? I can never remember her character's name. I'm going to try to look it up here, though. Give me a sec. I'm on IMDb. I bet I can find it. Maybe if they list her here. They got a lot of listings, though, but they did not have her. I forget. It's Madam Hydra is her character name, right, in the comics. So I'm just going to call her Madam Hydra. With her, and, looks like Yelena's working for her. And then, of course, you have John Walker, U.S. agent from Falcon and Winter Soldier. She's gathering her own little personal Avengers. Now, I was talking to Buddy JR with it last night at the bar before we went and saw Snake Eyes. I don't necessarily think she's, making an evil Avengers team because, she didn't seem like that. But like I said, an idea that came to me last night was West Coast Avengers. Yes, West Coast Avengers, which I believe in the comics, U.S. agent John Walker led at one point, if I remember correctly. That's just an idea I'm throwing out there for something with that. But Florence Pugh, terrific actress. When she was cast in this film, I was super excited about it because I had seen previous stuff she had done, like Midsommar, Fighting with My Family, Little Women. I saw all those, and I thought she's a great actress. And, if she's going to be involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward, I got super excited about that. Another highlight, David Harbour as Red Guardian, a.k.a. Alexei. He was the comic relief. He was the comic relief of the film, no doubt. I'm trying to think though too with Red Guardian. I can't remember how the character works. I think is he kind of the Russian equivalent of Captain America or something? I didn't look it up. I'm sorry. I know the name, but I'm very unfamiliar with who he exactly is. But David Harbour in this film, I didn't like his Hellboy movie, but I liked him as Hellboy. David Harbour actually, if I could, put together my perfect Fantastic Four cast, of whoever to make a Fantastic Four movie, he would have been my pick for The Thing. Not going to happen anymore, obviously, because he's already in the MCU, but he was a good highlight in this film as well. So, yes, I enjoyed the film. I didn't love it. Some of the weak points for me, number one was some of the, what do I want to say? I want to say action, but more like some of the crashes. Is, when I was watching the film, there were several points with car crashes and falling off buildings that Natasha should have, either been dead or severely injured. The one where she bounced off the building and then still landed on her feet. I'm sorry, but Captain America, Steve Rogers himself, the super soldier, did kind of the exact same thing. And even he fell on his ass when he got down to the ground. But Natasha landed on her feet, and then of course several car crashes where she should have been injured but wasn't. That kind of bothered me a little bit. I don't think it was really Fast and Furious unbelievable, but I will say the whole sequence at the end where she's falling from the fortress in the sky all the way to the ground, that seemed a little more believable than some of the other stuff previous in the film that she went through. But yeah, enjoyed the film, didn't love it. Definitely probably going to pick this one up to add to my MCU Blu-ray collection, to be honest. I know it's going to be on Disney Plus, and, I can start a digital collection and stuff like that. But, it's one that I feel like I want to have in my physical media collection, to say the least. But you guys fire back. Let me know what you think about Black Widow. What do you think they're setting up? The other thing that bothered me was at the end when it looked like she was surrendering to General Ross at the end. When I first watched the film, I thought, in the next scene, she's got the blonde hair and she's got the jets and she's going off to help Steve break the others out of the raft, which we see at the end of Civil War. First off, I would love to see a more integral part, just maybe in a comic, adaptation about how she hooks up with Steve and they break everyone out. That would be really cool to see. But how they go from looks like she's surrendering to General Ross, and then the next scene she's free and with blonde hair, even though Infinity War we still know that she's being hunted. At first I thought, okay, well, the information she got about the other girls from the Red Room, and then of course the antidote, which, did they ever say where that mind control antidote came from? I mean, who made it? They never really said. That kind of bothered me too. We never know exactly how it came about with that. But I figured she gave that to Ross in exchange for her freedom. But after watching it the second time, I saw that she handed it off to Yelena to take before everyone left, and she was there to face the consequences. So that couldn't have been it. So something that bothers me is how, she looks like she's turning herself in, and then the next scene she's free. Didn't seem right. I mean, she easily could have just went with everyone else, but, maybe, hopefully they'll answer that question at some point down the road. Also, her handing that stuff off to Yelena, I think sets up Yelena for her future adventures in the MCU. Again, kind of freeing or hunting down girls that were part of the Red Room program and freeing them however they need to be free. So there you go. That's my thoughts on Black Widow, guys. Let me know what yours are. And the other Marvel property that finished up within these last few weeks was Disney Plus series Loki with Tom Hiddleston. So 6 episodes, finally done, finally over with. And we got kind of a conclusion of season 1 because they teased us and said, yes, there will indeed be a season 2. So Loki is one of those characters I enjoy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think he's a good character in the MCU. And I wasn't super excited about this as I was excited about, other things like, say, Falcon Winter Soldier. I will say, starting off, this is my third of the MCU Disney Plus series. Falcon Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and then this is kind of how it all breaks down. The first 2 episodes I really enjoyed. I really thought they were going to go with this really mysterious way with it. And then after that, each episode I watched, honestly, I felt like it was getting more and more boring in my eyes. I mean, it was like him and Sylvie were on this thing where they were kind of chasing their own tail almost. And it wasn't what I thought it was going to be or what I hoped it would be, which would be like a mystery of, Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson's character hunting down this other criminal, which, turned out to be Sylvie. It wasn't that at all. It was Sylvie and Loki is really what it was. But yeah, it got less and less interesting to me as it went on, even though I enjoyed those first 2 episodes. The next couple episodes fell flat for me. And then you get to the final episode where we figure out that it's actually Kang, and there had been, hints and teases and theories that Kang was the villain. Jonathan Majors was already announced to be in the next Ant-Man and Wasp film, so we knew Kang was coming, but this was a very tight lid, and, it made sense because Kang is one who is, about time travel and stuff like that. So it made sense, and I really enjoyed this in the sense that it feeds into the bigger MCU storyline with the multiverse, everything that's, going to happen in the multiverse saga. We got Spider-Man No Way Home coming up, as well as Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And that's one question I had as soon as this episode was over was, okay, they say Loki Season 2 is coming, but we also know Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is coming. Which is coming out first? Now, Doctor Strange is set to come out next year, and I don't think Loki's going to come out before that, so I don't know how it's going to go. And then again, this kind of changed my idea of how the multiverse saga is going to go, where when Kevin Feige said that the multiverse saga was going to be Doctor Strange 2, Spider-Man No Way From Home, and WandaVision, I thought, okay, that's cool, And I always thought that maybe Wanda was going to be more of a villain in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where, she tries to mess with reality and get her children back, which may still be true, but I feel like at this point, Doctor Strange, who is, probably going to have to clean up this Multiverse of Madness that is about to happen on the MCU, I feel like he's going to need her help, her abilities to clean it up. Is what I think is going to happen. Whether it's going to end there, I don't know. I will say Jonathan Majors, what we got of him, of Kang, in this last episode was terrific. I thought it was terrific. The series as a whole, or the season as a whole, again, I still wasn't very impressed. I think I only enjoyed that last episode as much as I did because of what it fed into for the upcoming MCU. I feel like right now we have kind of 2 different things going on in the MCU. The bigger cosmic thing is the multiverse and Kang and all that and Doctor Strange. But then you also have a bigger sense of more earthbound, like I said, with, the Madam Hydra collecting heroes or people to put on her own maybe personal Avengers team. More of a smaller story versus more of a cosmic storyline. And I like that, you have both levels. So whatever you enjoy, which I do enjoy the good cosmic story, but I drift a lot towards more earthbound stuff, which is why I enjoyed, I think, Black Widow more than most, and why I really like the Captain America films and Falcon Winter Soldier and all those. I do love the cosmic stuff too, like Guardians, but I like that there's the option, could they get a little out of this, madness, lose some fans? Perhaps, but again, that's why I think the earthbound storyline with what's going on otherwise, I think is, for people who don't latch onto the multiverse, they still have something else in the MCU to be interested in and keep them watching the movies and the TV shows for that matter. And the other thing about Loki was, I think, I thought this too before I even watched the show, is I do enjoy the character of Loki, but I enjoy him with Thor, with Chris Hemsworth, their relationship, their brotherhood, how they bounce off each other. I thought was really what helped make the character of Loki, and in some parts the character of Thor, really work. So that missing piece as well, I think, took a bit away from Loki in this series for me. he had his relationship with Sylvie, I guess. They tried to build off of that. And I like kind of where it ended, but it wasn't as good as him with Thor. I think, again, if they would have stuck with him and Owen Wilson's character more, I think I would have enjoyed that better, but they did what they did. What happened, what happened. I get it. Of course, I'm going to be watching season 2. I'm very interested to see how the multiverse saga is going to play out. But Loki, not exactly what I would hope it'd be, but it's Marvel. I'm going to continue to watch it. But what did you guys think of Loki? What did you think of the last episode, multiverse, all that stuff? Fireback, Facebook group on there, and of course, Twitter page. That is where you go to discuss it. Let me know. Okay, so that I feel wraps up kind of the housekeeping highlights, the things I missed from the last 2 weeks that I really want to talk about. Now, I got some other stuff I want to talk about, which came out this week. And I guess I'm going to keep going on with my reviews. Snake Eyes, the newest G.I. Joe film from Paramount, has come out starring Henry Golding as the title character. And this is supposed to be Paramount's and Hasbro's shot at jumping off a new G.I. Joe cinematic universe is what they want. You had the previous films with The Rock and Channing Tatum years ago, weren't great, definitely not great. So this is their next start, hopefully trying to focus on one main character and maybe branching out from there. The director of this, Robert Schwintsky, I think that's how you say his last name. Actually, a pretty decent director. He directed The Time Traveler's Wife, Red, R.I.P.D., which I won't talk about. But I liked Red and I liked Time Traveler's Wife. The Family Jewels wasn't too bad either. He's a decent director. I'll give him that. Went and saw this film last night with a couple of buddies. And I gotta say, I didn't love it. In fact, I really didn't like it too much at all. Mainly because of the fact that the main character, Henry Golding's character, Snake Eyes, is not a great character, okay? I mean, pretty much the whole film, he's the bad guy. He's doing the bad thing, going against his friend, which is the guy who plays Assam in the show Warrior, which is now on HBO Max, which I just finished the first 2 seasons of that. Love it, love it, love it. After we walked out, I told my buddies, you got to go watch Warrior so you can see the guy who played Tommy in this, aka Storm Shadow, and you really love it. Anyway, I didn't like the character. Not only was he a bad guy, but he was also very stoic. And if you want to be a leading man, especially in these action movies, you have to have some charm. Okay, not to say that Henry Golding doesn't have some charm. I've seen him in a couple things. He's okay. I wouldn't call him charming, but you have to have some charm, to be a leading man in these action movies. And the character wasn't written that way at all. And he was a dick. I mean, I'll just say it right now. And that made it very hard to try to cheer for him, to root for him when he was the one being the bad guy. And then the end, there was the flip, and it just didn't work. It didn't work for me. And especially the fact that, you do have Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. And like I said, I saw the show Warrior with the guy who played Tommy, Andrew Koji, I think is his last name. He's a good martial artist. So why they didn't try to incorporate that more into the film instead of doing this shaky cam, close up, what the hell are they actually doing style of cinematography? No, this is a movie about martial artists, okay? This is, let's get your shit together and let's show some badass ninja moves. And I saw nothing to impress me as far as ninja moves or anything like that within this film. I mean, I'm trying to think of something that I really liked in this movie, and the only thing I really liked was, again, Andrew Koji, Koji, I don't know why I said that, as, his character Tommy. I really liked him, even though we know he's, Storm Shadow, which is a G.I. Joe bad guy. He's probably the only really good thing I liked about this movie. Again, maybe just because I gravitate towards him because he's on one of the shows that I like. But other than that, this movie really didn't work for me. I'd say like it's horrible. It's like a bad movie, but it wasn't great. It's one of those movies I say like, I'm glad I watched it. I don't see ever a need to watch it again. to say the least, on that. So if you've seen Snake Eyes, let me know. I think it's kind of a dud as far as them trying to, get a G.I. Joe franchise or cinematic universe going. I'd say, you need to regroup, guys, and rethink this a little bit now because it didn't work for me at all. And according to the box office, it's not working for a lot of people. But we'll see. We'll see where they go with it, guys. But if you've seen Snake Eyes, let me know what you think. Facebook group and, of course, Twitter. All right, and I have one more thing I want to review. But before I do that, I'm going to take a little break and go to an actual news story. So, a couple days ago, Deadline reported that Into the Heights star Leslie Grace will play Barbara Gordon for Warner Brothers and DC Films' Batgirl, which is now set to come directly to HBO Max. Now, I know there was a story yesterday, Michael B. Jordan, there's been rumors about him being involved with some kind of Superman project. They just announced that he is producing and possibly starring in a Superman project going directly to HBO Max, but it's not Clark Kent Superman, it's the alternate Superman, Val something or other, Earth 2 Superman, I think is what it is. I'm not going to look it up, honestly, I'm not going to, but again, both of these are going to go directly to HBO Max. Now with Batgirl, this is a project that's kind of been in the works for a while. As far back as 2017, before the Justice League movie came out, there were rumors that Joss Whedon might be involved in a Batgirl project. That fell off, and then it's kind of been in limbo ever since. Then you had, Birds of Prey and all this stuff. Well, it was, I believe, a couple months ago, maybe, was it? That they announced that the guys who directed the third Bad Boys film, Bad Boys for Life, are going to be doing it. And again, they just announced that it's going to be on HBO Max as well. So, of course, something like this comes up and the fanboys nerd out and rage out. And I'll start off by this, okay? Growing up, I feel like my love for science fiction characters or comic book characters can contribute to my affinity for redheads. Luke Skywalker, in the Legends, as they call it now, married Mara Jade, redhead. When I first started reading, really getting into Superman comic books during the death of Superman, Lois Lane had dark red hair. Cyclops, my boy, of course, married to Jean Grey, redhead. So comic books and, sci-fi and my favorite fantasy characters, have an affinity for redheads. So that's why I feel like I have an affinity for redheads. And, one of my favorite DC characters or even comic book characters in general, Dick Grayson, has one too, because the two biggest loves of his life are Barbara Gordon and then, of course, Starfire, who is an alien with red hair. So there's that. And traditionally in the comics, animated, all that stuff, the character of Barbara Gordon has been a redhead. I get it. Now in Batman and Robin, Lisa Silverstone played the character and was a blonde. I didn't see anybody throwing a fit about that, but that was back before the internet was all around and social media and, people get their panties in a bunch for the silliest things, but that's neither here nor there. So Leslie Grace, obviously not a, Caucasian redhead, and that's what people are having a problem with. But here's what it comes down to the casting is, first off, I saw Into the Heights, and this actress, I think, is a pretty good actress. I've only seen her in one thing, but I thought she did a good job. I think she is a pretty decent actress. So I believe that, not knowing the script and, all that stuff, I believe they, are making the best choice that they believe is possible with this character. And based off what I've seen of this actress, I approve. I really do. And yes, her ethnicity is not what matches the comic books or the origins of the character. But how many people threw an outrage when Jeffrey Wright was cast as James Gordon in the new Matt Reeves Batman film, huh? How many people have thrown a fit about that? I didn't hear anybody throwing a fit about that. Why? Because he's a good actor and people thought he'd make a good Commissioner Gordon regardless of his skin color. And this should be no different. There's nothing about the Barbara Gordon character that says she has to be a redhead. There's nothing integral about the character that, is definitive that says she has to be a Caucasian redhead. So switching ethnicities, I have no problem with. If, they're doing it to get the best person for the job. Now, I will say this, of course, studios, they want to make the most money they can off of these projects. And the way they do that is to try to get, the most amount of people to see their movies, and they try to, click all the boxes, if you will. So I can see them, part of the reason is, yes, they think if they switch up to a non-traditional look for this character, they might get a few more ticket sales. I'll go and say that. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that. It's like back when, the new Star Wars trilogy came out, and the main character was Rey, a female, and then, a black stormtrooper. And people were freaking out about that. And I'm like, okay, first off, who cares about that at all? That's the story is, and I'm fine with that. But also, guys, it's show business, okay? It's a Star Wars movie. Main audience for Star Wars is male, so Disney, Lucasfilm were like, okay, we know we're going to get the male Star Wars fans to go. How do we get more money by getting the females to go? I know. Let's put in a female heroine. Diversifying, getting more people in there. And I'm fine with it. It made no problems with the story. No problem to me at all. And this is kind of the same thing. Leslie Grace should be based on her acting abilities and nothing else, because nothing else about Barbara Gordon says she has to be a specific ethnicity. Batgirl. The only thing she has to be, in my opinion, is a girl. And I think that's fine with that. So I know some people have a problem with it. I don't. I think she can do a good job. And I like the idea of putting this, and again, that other Superman project on HBO Max, them taking, characters that, maybe Warner Brothers doesn't want to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on a riskier project, perhaps. Not to say that Batgirl would be too risky, but put him on HBO Max, focusing more and not quite a big a budget. I can totally see. I think it's a smart play. I hope they take some of their other characters that they normally wouldn't, make a big screen adaptation of, and try some more stuff on HBO Max with them. Yes, your Supermans, your Batmans, your Wonder Womans, even your Aquamans now. I understand, those are characters that are big. They need a big scale, and they're not as risky on the big screen, spending all the money for it. And in the past, I've often criticized Warner Brothers and DC for only, putting out Batman and Superman when there are hundreds of other DC characters that can be good, or, have a wealth of history and potential to be good. And by putting stuff just on HBO Max and not on the big screen, I hope we get more of that stuff on the smaller screen, because I would love to see more characters brought to life. And I think that's all I'm going to say about that, guys. Okay, so what'd you think? Leslie Grace as Batgirl on HBO Max. Fire back. Let me know what you think. All right, guys. So last thing, I am wrapping it up today. I'm going to finish out in Eternia, guys. So the first 5 episodes of the Kevin Smith produced Masters of the Universe Revelation is now available on Netflix. I sat down and watched all 5 episodes. I actually got up early on Friday to watch the first episode before I went to work. I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes there Friday night, and then I finished it up Saturday morning. So He-Man, Masters of the Universe, whatever you want to call it, of course, this is, based off the old Mattel toy line, as well as the 80s cartoon. Big, franchise, I would say, as far as, toys and cartoons, and very beloved by a lot of people. Myself, I love the He-Man 80s animated series. I had some toys. At one point, I know I had a sword and all this stuff too. So I grew up, in that He-Man generation. So I'm right there. And I was looking forward to this because there's a lot of good mythology in Masters of the Universe to be mined. And I think, if Kevin Smith could just take that mythology, modernize it, give it, some good animation, some good characters, I think there's a lot of good potential in that. So we got the first 5 episodes, and I will say I enjoyed it. I didn't love it. I wasn't blowing my mind, amazed by it. So before I go too much further, I will say I'm going spoilers on this, guys. So if you have not seen the 5 episodes, which is only like 2 hours long. And I recommend watching them all at once, like a 2 hour movie. I think is the best way to do it. But if you haven't done it, I'm going spoilers all the way to the end. So just to let you know. So first off, like I said, Kevin Smith, the ultimate fanboy, kind of put some cred behind this project. Plus, the voice cast is amazing. Okay, you got Sarah Michelle Gellar pretty much leading this as Tila. You got Lena Headey as Eva Lynn, Mark Hamill as Skeletor, Chris Wood as He-Man, Liam Cunningham, the perfect voice for Man-at-Arms, Justin Long, Henry Rollins, Susan Eisenberg, who voiced Wonder Woman in the Justice League animated series and Justice League Unlimited as a sorceress. Great voice cast and producing cast behind this. So what did I think on specifics? I enjoyed it because I think it really opened up, again, the mythology of Masters of the Universe. And when I say Masters of the Universe, I'll say that because I know the biggest gripe people are having is, with these 5 episodes, the lack of He-Man. And I said on social media, it's called Masters of the Universe. The original show was He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. This is just Masters of the Universe. And before the show came out, Kevin Smith seemed to be really focusing on how much Tila was going to be the focus of at least these first couple episodes or the series. So the fact that she really was the center point, why it surprised people, I don't know. But here's also, again, what I'm thinking about all this is that these are the first 5 episodes. It's part 1 of season 1, okay? First part of a season, okay? Before we go and raise our pitchforks and torches, let's see how the rest of the season pans out, okay? Let's see what happens in the rest of the season, because they left us on a great cliffhanger, I believe, with, Prince Adam being stabbed and Skeletor finally getting the power of Grayskull with the power sword. They really focused on a lot of good character stuff with Tila, with Eva Lynn, with Orko on this too. Again, I think it's all a good start, and as long as Smith and his team know where they're going, for the rest of the season, if not beyond, it's all about the longevity, especially in a TV series, is have your stuff planned out, have your story mapped out, at least as far as an outline of where you want each character to go, and then you fill in the details, maybe change a few things as you go. So at this point, I'm giving them the credibility or a little more slack that they know where this is going and that fanboys are just raging out prematurely. And, in today's instant gratification world, we all just need to take a breath and see where the story takes us, okay? When we get to the end of the season or, and see the full scope of it all, then if it doesn't work out, then you can complain. But it's 5 episodes, okay? Like I said, it's 2 hours. Take a chill pill and just, see what happens for the rest of this. It was what I expected as far as the level of it. If you're a He-Man fan, I definitely recommend checking it out. I like the animation. The voice casting, like I said, was great. They started to, again, it's 5 episodes. So you get little tidbits inside each, character's psyche, which hopefully, again, they'll expand upon as the season and the series goes from there, expanding on, the mythology of Grayskull and Eternia, all that stuff. I really enjoyed it. I think it was a very good starting point. From there, we'll see where it goes. But I want to know what you guys think. Masters of the Universe Revelation Part 1, Season 1 has come out. I don't know when Part 2 is coming out. Hopefully, you don't have to wait that long. With another animated Netflix show, Voltron, Legendary Defender, they'd come out with a couple episodes, call it a season, and then a couple months later, they'd come out with another season. They had 7 or 8 seasons, but the middle seasons were only 4 or 5 episodes each. But again, they would come out every couple of months is what it would be. So I hope we have to wait less than a year before we get Part 2 and finish the season. Hopefully even, maybe by the end of this year, I'm hoping we get the rest of the season. But let me know what you guys think. Are you outraged like some fanboys are out there? Are you willing to give Smith and his team the benefit of the doubt? How do you feel about the story, the animation, all that stuff, guys? Fire back, Facebook group, Twitter account, Don't forget dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. And that is going to be it for me today. Like I said, I ran a little long. Yes, I ran a little long. That's how it was. I wanted to, share my thoughts on Black Widow and Loki and try to get the highlights in there. There's so much that I would talk about that I did not get a chance to talk about, but it's your turn. Fire back, of course. Like I said, any of the topics I have discussed, the Facebook group, Twitter page, dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com, they are there to talk about. What else? Some other stuff just came out today as well that I didn't bring up. Let me look. I'm going to jump on the Facebook page real quick because I guess you know how it is. I'm more active on the Facebook. I'll put like stories on there, but I'll also put memes as well and other funny things on the Facebook group rather than Twitter. Twitter, I'm not as good. I stick strictly to business when it comes to the Twitter account versus the Facebook. I think I'm a little more active with and have a little more fun with. Let's see here. I just posted the Star Trek Prodigy trailer, Genlock Season 2 first look, and then the Legends of Tomorrow trailer was on there as well. So you guys go on to the Facebook and on Twitter and check that stuff out, guys. But that's going to be it for me today. Fire back, post up, do whatever you guys do. Let's have a nice, good discussion about all the things in the world of geekdom. But until next time, may the Force be with us all.